time once again for me to say thank you to a company for sending me a game to review. This time it's Fireside Games, and today we're going to be looking at something that's either going to be dead good fun or a thoroughly rotten game. We will find out whether it's worth getting out of your grave for Dead Panic. Next in line after Castle Panic, Dead Panic continues the Panic series of games, and it has a similar feel but a completely different twist. Whereas Castle Panic felt like Space Invaders, this feels more like Robotron. You're on the board this time, you actually have a little cardboard standee and you get to move around outside the cabin that you're protecting, which is weirdly hexagonal and looks like a bandstand or a summer house. As you move around, you'll find big strings of zombies swarming to you, and there's different types. You've got the shamblers that are numerous and slow, you've got the brawlers that are good in a fight, the brutes that can take out the walls in one hit, sprinters who are the fast zombies. You know, you've got a bit of variety of what you're going to be killing, and there's going to be a lot of that. Your plan is that rather than make it through the bag of monsters, this time you have an infinite amount of evil undead to fend off, and there are survivors, and the survivors will come in and drop off bits of radio, and if you get all 3 bits of radio and put it together, you can summon a team to come and rescue you and make that last bolt out to the van. So you've got a scenario this time that's not just defend the centre point. You have a bit more going on in a way. It's very much propped up with your standard sort of zombie cliches. You've got you know, your kind of shotgun and chainsaw and all the various things you'd expect. Have to give them definitely some real respect for how they've treated the characters this time. You've got a good male to female balance, and the roles are nicely varied. You know, male paramedic, female convict. It's not just as you'd expect. You do get different characters with their different abilities, and they've done a really good job of keeping people in the game. If you die, you turn into one of the zombies, and you can carry on pursuing your previous friends and co-teammates and trying to devour them yourself, adding that nice personal touch to murder. The cool thing is that when you turn into a zombie, you get to choose 2 different aspects of what you can do. You might be faster or win on ties. So it's kind of neat. I like that little function, the fact that you can not just become a zombie, but you kind of customise yourself. Yeah, there's a lot of clever ideas, like when you're shooting, instead of rolling dice for it, you basically just knock the card down one. You sort of tap the card around and slowly run out of bullets, and then eventually your gun will become a club, which you can use to bludgeon with. Like I said, the items are perhaps a little predictable for the most part. Well, there are some fun ones and some weird ones, like trail mix. It's kind of entertaining how the cabin is stuffed full of weaponry and things that you can have. It works. It's a good game in terms of its mechanics. It works perfectly well. It's perfectly sound. It makes very good use of the Dead Panic. Of the Castle Panic rotating the tokens thing. And yes, there are no miniatures, there are no finely sculpted zombie figures, but it doesn't need them. That's not the point. That's not how this works. It works beautifully with the cardboard tokens. The board's very easily laid out. Everything's very easy to see, very graphic and very visual. Sometimes the tokens start stacking up and it'll get a little bit messy. But they've still got the reference guides on the corner of the boards and all the stuff I liked from the design and the visual aspect of Castle Panic. There's other cool stuff as well. I mean, just little things like the fact that the standees are colour-coded to your character, so you can tell at a glance who's where and what's going on. There's a bit of a problem with design of the standees. The little crosspiece that kind of slots in and keeps them standing up does tend to fall out when you move them. Can be a bit of a pain in the backside, and that's a bit of a shame, but a little bit of glue and you've fixed the problem. It's not really that much of an issue. So it all sounds rather promising, really. I mean, it doesn't take too long to play, and the turns are quite quick. You take 2 actions. You've got plenty of things you can do. You go around, you blat the zombies, and hopefully you'll eventually win. However, it's not that it's a bad game. I just get the distinct impression that the game isn't for me, because I think if you were just starting out in gaming, this would be really cool. If you'd not played any other zombie games, it'd be a good game. And unfortunately, for me it falls between 2 stools. On the one hand, you have Castle Panic, and on the other hand, you've got something like Last Night on Earth. and Dead Panic sort of drops right down the middle. It doesn't feel like it's got the same cooperative element of Castle Panic where you're trading the cards and you're solving a puzzle, but it really doesn't have the sort of passionate theme of Last Night on Earth, where they really put their all into it and took photos and made a cast and really pulled on those kind of strings that make you have that sort of schlock horror movie kind of laugh about it. It's a very middle of the road experience for the game. I mean, it was fun. We enjoyed it when we've played it. It's been fun, but it doesn't have that spark. It doesn't come to life as much as the other games do. In a way, it's thrown out a few references, like, you've got a character called Barbara, and you've got sort of like a certain reference to The Walking Dead. There's certain things about the game that are callbacks, but it kind of seems a bit too safe in a way. And it's hard to know who it's really for, because the artwork, although it's not realistic, is quite gory. But the feel of the game is a little simple and a little bit like a family game, but at the same time there are some complex bits, like working out the sort of flowchart of the zombie AI, in effect, and working out where they're going to go. Some elements are kind of underdeveloped. I found that the survivors usually spawned and died, and that was it. It feels like you should be rescuing them, but you find yourself gaming the game and going, well, the survivor's over there, so I'll let the zombies go to them and kill him, because I don't care. And while that'd be good if it was you and other players and everyone for themselves, in this it just feels like the survivors are a thing. And perhaps that's the issue. The mechanics are sort of too close to the surface. You find yourself kind of going, well, I know how this is going to play out, so therefore I will do this to keep myself 2 spaces from there, and this survivor means the zombies will go this way. And I don't know, it's an okay game, and it works alright, but it doesn't rise into meet its theme very well. It doesn't really give you much of a sense of excitement. It's well produced, and it's well thought out, but it's almost like it checks all the boxes in quite a clinical way. Yes, you've got the shotguns and the chainsaws. Yes, you've got the zombie horde. Yes, you've got the event cards. And yes, you've got the survivor characters. But it feels a bit like it's just doing the minimum to sort of go, yes, this is a zombie game. It's checking off those points, but there's nothing as fun as Last Night on Earth's kind of Last Night on Earth card, or the sort of daft stereotypes, or the sheer amount of joy that obviously went into making that game. And although Last Night on Earth is a fiddly game compared to this, and as such this could be a big plus for some people, I don't know, it's just kind of missing something. It gives me the same feeling that Castle Panic did without the expansion. Castle Panic Wizard Tower expansion really made that game come alive and become something cool. Dead Panic, with just as it is, with no expansions at the moment, it's all right. It's not great. I'm not sure how much more there is to say than that, to be honest. I almost had the most fun with this game when I played it as a solo game and was sort of playing it like that, but then that doesn't really work when your characters become zombies and you have to start fighting yourself. The rulebook's pretty good. It's got a few holes in it, but I have to say the service I got from Fireside Games and the fact that there's an FAQ was amazing. So once I'd looked at the FAQ and looked at the rules, I pretty much had no questions left. Yeah, I'm not sure how much more to say about Dead Panic. It really is a game that, if I was given the option of playing Dead Panic, I would probably go for one of 2 games either side. And like I say, it perhaps isn't a fault with the game as much as it is that the game doesn't feel like it's for me. It feels like it's for new gamers, younger gamers, perhaps sort of young teens because of the artwork being a bit grim. Yeah, I don't get that buzz from it. Although I do think that it is well put together. You know, like I said, maybe this is the perfect game for when you're a bit tired and you don't really want to go for the whole hog of playing Last Night on Earth and doing all the dice rolling and remembering all the rules. Maybe this is the perfect thing for sort of that beer and pretzels. We're like, yeah, let's just knock out a game of this and see how we go. I don't know. It needs a bit more oomph to just push it over the top into something special. And as it is, it's a good game, but it isn't really one I'd pick to play given the choice. So that's Dead Panic. Yeah. It's a good effort, but I want more from it. Anyway, thanks very much to Fireside Games for sending this to me. I'm very, very happy to have reviewed it, and I hope that the review was a fair and just one. I have to say I'm getting a little bit bored of zombie games. There are a lot of zombie games, and there are a lot of other themes to be had. Maybe this is just a kind of a thing of the genre starting to burn itself out a bit, I don't know. It'd be really cool to see an undead expansion for Castle Panic with like skeleton warriors and stuff, so I really hope that's in the works. Anyway, this has been once more Cardcore Gamer for the website of Doom, doing a review of a game for people like you to watch. And I hope you've enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.